Welcome to Alaska Weather, a production of Alaska Public Media and the National Weather Service, Alaska Region. Produced and broadcast daily from the studios of KAKM, Alaska Weather provides complete forecasts, public, marine, and aviation for all of Alaska. Alaska Weather is made possible by the following sponsors.
The National Weather Service.
Hello again, everyone, and thanks for joining us for this Saturday's edition of Alaska Weather. I'm Dave Percy. Up first here, we've got some warnings out for high to extreme fire danger here for the Susitna Valley starting this evening, continuing through tomorrow evening, and that due to some increasing northeast winds picking up to about 10 to 20 miles an hour with maybe some higher gusts here, mainly over the northern Susitna Valley. And then same thing going on out here on the lower Kuskokwim on out to the delta there with northeast winds expected to increase tomorrow afternoon, continuing into tomorrow evening in that 15 to 20 mile per hour range. Could see gusts 25 to 30 miles per hour there. And all of that with the dry conditions making it pretty extreme on the fire danger. And breakup is over, so on to the fire danger map. For today, we had pretty high here, Susitna Valley, across Cook Inlet, Knik Arm there, or across Turnagain Arm and Knik Arm, down into the northern Kenai Peninsula area. Another patch over here over the southeastern or eastern Copper River Basin, just about down to the coastline, and an area up there over the upper Yukon Valley and also in the Kuskokwim Valley. And from there, going on to satellite imagery, this the visual shot showing a lot of clear skies, again, over much of interior Alaska, some variable cloudiness on the east side there, as well as across the panhandle, a few more clouds, and some scattered showers, mainly down over the southern areas, but sunshine up to the north, as well as along the North Gulf Coast and into Prince William Sound, allowing temperatures to push into the upper 60s and lower 70s there. A lot of sunshine here in Bristol Bay, also over the northern Bering Sea, St. Lawrence Island, pretty clear, VFR right up through the strait into the Chukchi Basin, and lots of sunshine. Easterly flow keeping all this low stuff out to the west, but this area tracking northward pretty good throughout the day at a pretty good clip. Now probably spread into the St. Lawrence Island area later this evening and tonight with some low clouds, fog, and with it IFR conditions. Not bad here over the eastern Aleutians, especially just south of the Pribilofs there. Look pretty good with some sunshine, but a few isolated showers here, possibly breaking out this afternoon. On the infrared imagery, you can see a lot of moisture back here over western Canada, kind of edging its way in toward the panhandle. Otherwise, just again, some isolated showers like at Annette, and sunshine up to the north, clear skies over the interior, and those lingering areas of clouds here kind of dropping southward. This band right through here came down out of the interior earlier today. Now they're over the North Gulf Coast areas, but lots of clear skies out here into the Bering, and then a system back out to the west. On the chart, just a weak low here, bringing mostly cloudy skies and a few scattered showers there to the Aleutians in that area, and then a weak trough farther west out there, again bringing that same weather pattern, clouds and some isolated showers. Otherwise dry here for the rest of the state. Winds 5 to 15 out of the east-northeast here over the southwest interior, and some possible gusts up to 20, 22 miles per hour. A little stronger on the eastern Arctic coast, 15 to 20 miles per hour up there, or 10 to 20, gusts to 30 miles an hour. Less wind on the west side, and then some clouds, isolated showers breaking out, more mist than hit in the area here, and on down into the southeast coast. For tonight, this trough axis staying off the coast, so that should hold the low clouds and fog. South of the coastline, again, maybe some of that reaching the southern Kenai Peninsula around Kodiak Island, and mostly cloudy here for the panhandle with some scattered showers, mainly over the southern areas, just an isolated threat up to the north there. Otherwise, fair and dry and warm, mild, with some of the lows remaining in the mid-50s. So 40s to mid-50s for the low temperatures out here, and just nothing more than really a northeast breeze going on all the way up there to the eastern Arctic coast. So that offshore flow probably will keep it clear and VFR for the northwest coast as well as the western Arctic coast. High pressure settling in over the northern Bering Sea. Again, that's going to allow the low clouds and fog to develop there in place. Could be some drizzle forming there just southwest or on the west side of St. Lawrence Island, all the way down in toward the Pribilos with low clouds and fog, possibly down into the Alaska Peninsula area. And then a couple of troughs, again, that weakening low just sliding eastward could bring a chance of showers to the western Alaska Peninsula, and maybe a few isolated scattered showers there for the Fox Islands. And that same pattern sort of increases and gets a little more widespread the farther west you go. And then down to the southwest, the outer rain shield, the next system, which tomorrow will push up and bring an increase in the winds and rain chances here over the western and into the central Aleutians throughout the day. Basically south to southeast winds from the eastern Aleutians into the southern Bering Sea. High pressure, light wind conditions up here over the northern Bering. Again, a lot of low clouds and fog forming and increasing in that area and kind of coming up and hugging the coastline by tomorrow afternoon. And but another mostly sunny day for the southwest Yukon-Kuskokwim Delta. Actually, most of Bristol Bay all the way into the interior. Good sunshine, warm temperatures once again. And we've got a weak low here pulling into just, well, actually the western Alaska range. So look for a few scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms to develop along the mountains here and extend up into the eastern Tanana Valley and the eastern Alaska range, northeast Copper River Basin. And a little cooler now along the coast here with a little more onshore flow as that trough lifts northward. That'll definitely turn the flow back onshore there. So definitely looking at some cooling conditions, mainly along the coast, but still quite warm over the interior. And the southeast coast here, partly to mostly cloudy, scattered thunderstorms possible. And then for Monday, kind of a breakdown there. The showers mostly up in the Yukon here. Some lingering stuff over the northern areas, but nothing very significant at all. And then a break coming through, could see some clearing ahead of this next system, which possibly could spread rain onto the southwest coast there, western Prince of Wales Island by any time during the later afternoon. Otherwise, we've got some showers and cooler temperatures here, higher pressure at the surface building in along the North Gulf Coast. So that's going to drive some cooler air in over south central Alaska, possibly even into the Copper River basins. More cloudiness, but scattered showers. These might drift up to the Kenai Peninsula there and maybe toward Prince William Sound on back to Kodiak Island. Otherwise, just some isolated thunderstorms possible along the mountains. Maybe a little bit better threat down here in northeastern Bristol Bay. Otherwise, low pressure, mostly a thermal trough here, keeping it nice over the Yukon Delta, and sunny and warm up across the northwest central interior. Much of the Berks Range and North Slope looking really good. Probably sunshine on the east side and picking up some clouds here on the west side with the fog. Again, from the Chukchi Sea right down through the Strait, St. Lawrence Island. Lots of low clouds and fog for the Bering Sea. And then this next storm bringing some pretty good gale force winds into the central Aleutians and even into the eastern Aleutians there, looking at winds 35 to 40 knots in the marine forecast there, and that'll also push in a pretty good shot of rain with it into the eastern Aleutians, which will extend just about all the way back to the west towards Shemya. And temperatures this afternoon across the Panhandle pretty varied as they usually are, with mid-50s here along the coastal areas, 54 at Sitka, but Port Alexander up to 61, then back down to 54 at Heidelberg. Upper 50s for the remainder of the area there. Juneau pushed up to 70 at mid-afternoon today, while Yakutat had 67. 65 in Cordova. Valdez, a nice 73 degrees. And Kenai Peninsula, again, a big range there along the coast in the upper 50s, but inland areas pushed into the mid to upper 70s. 72 at Talkeetna this afternoon with near 70-degree readings across the Copper River Basin. Up to the north, a few more clouds and cooler temperatures, keeping it in the mid to upper 60s there, and a 57 at Fort Yukon, but Tanana at 70, and that 70-degree weather right down into the Kuskokwim Valley at McGrath. 72 east winds kicking up to about 20 to 25 at Unalakleet, and 75 at AKwx Airport, one of the warmer locations in the state. 68 at Bettles, 54 in Atuvik, Umiat Airfield up to 53, while Arctic Village saw 48. And 30s and 40s along the Arctic coast, with right on the coastline staying in the lower to mid 30s. Inland, just a little ways inland, and you're in the lower 40s. Point Lay 59 and 64 there at Noatak, 52 in Kotzebue. Otherwise, mid 40s to mid 50s there on the north side of the Seward Peninsula. Much warmer. Teller at 69 degrees, 63 at Nome. Even Tin City up to 59, but 41 at Savunga. Along the coast, mid 60s here, Amonic, and on over to Tuksuk Bay, 72 at Mountain Village, 57 at Mekoryuk, and upper 40s for the Pribilofs, mid to upper 40s here for much of the Aleutians. The Alaska Peninsula, well, actually from Unalaska there, near 50, upper 40s and 50s, warming into the mid 60s up toward King Salmon. And for the lows tonight, we've got again mild 50s here over a big portion of Bristol Bay into the southwest interior, otherwise 40s to the north, 40s near 50 all the way up to the northwest, 30s along the coast, mid 20s for the Arctic coast into the North Slope area, and 30s to mid 40s in the east, 40s for the southeast coast. High temperatures, again, a lot of 70s all the way up to near 80 there for the Noatak Valley, and some good 70s southward to the to Bristol Bay here, Togiak, King Salmon, and 60s and 70s to mid 70s here from, again, the Susitna Valley into the central interior. A little cooler here on the east side with mostly upper 50s to mid 60s though, and 50s into the mid 60s for the Panhandle. Flying weather tomorrow morning, IFR along the eastern Arctic coast, staying VFR back to the west, VFR all along the coastline though, but this area IFR this evening sliding into St. Lawrence Island, up through the Bering Strait into the Chukchi Sea. Huge area IFR in the forecast for the Bering Sea and the Aleutians, but not too bad here for the Alaska Peninsula to about Kodiak Island. And then for tomorrow afternoon, again, this marginal condition forecast to stay off the coast through tomorrow afternoon, maybe even Kodiak Island. No change here through the Bering Strait and out over the Bering Sea there, with a lot expecting IFR anywhere out there, but marginal VFR here for the eastern Aleutians in toward, say, Falls Pass, with the remainder of the area here looking really good. And marginal VFR a little more extensive now over the southeast coast with showers and clouds. That'll be spreading northward. Showers possible there up on those passes to the north, but they'd stay the VFR variety. And for passes, all VFR in Atuvik and Adigan. Another good day for Lake Clark, Merrill, and Rainy, as well as windy Isabel and Mentasta. Looking good VFR through tomorrow. And Tanita VFR, Portage VFR, Chilkoot and White. Again, look for some showers possible tomorrow afternoon, but again, conditions hopefully staying VFR. And for the freezing levels, 10,000 feet off to the west-northwest here from the Yukon Delta up to the western Arctic coast, and still kind of a cooler, but not too bad, 6,000 feet here into the southeast interior and across the Panhandle with the cooler stuff up to the north and back to the west. And for icing, just some mixed, mostly above the 6,000 foot level here, areas of in the shaded areas here over the central Panhandle, mostly north of the area, and then some of this over the eastern interior from, well, the northeastern Copper River Basin up across the 40-mile country, otherwise icing free, and then a big batch out here just pressing in toward the western Aleutians into the afternoon. And there's that big area high pressure now right over the Bering Strait tomorrow. Northerly winds 82, 90 knots across the eastern interior, right down over south central Alaska, turning westerly at 100 knots. Main jet just to the south there, but well to the south of the Panhandle with upper level low, keeping it cloudy, showery, and on the cool side, especially over the southern areas. And for 9,000 feet, very light variable flow here across the Gulf of Alaska and the southeast coast. Again, some northeasterlies or east northeasterlies, 15 to 30 knots here, developing over the Alaska Range, Tanana Valley, and then extending down to the southwest, becoming light again up to the north. High pressure, light winds, Bristol Bay, the Alaska Peninsula, southeast winds 15 to 20 knots, increasing there out over the central Bering Sea. That same pattern also at 3,000 feet here. Northeasterlies 15 to 20 knots, 22 knots maybe up in that area. Lighter, more variable here over the southern coast, and quite light for the Gulf of Alaska and the Panhandle. Turbulence-wise, again, could be some mechanical turbulence here. White Mountain areas, a central western Alaska range, pushing on down toward the Kilberk Mountains, and maybe along the central and eastern Arctic coast, and also possible light to isolated moderate stuff there over the central Aleutians, mostly below 4,000 feet. And after the break, I'll be back with the marine forecasts.
The beauty and tranquility of our rivers provide the setting for numerous outdoor activities, from fishing on a lazy afternoon to facing the thrilling challenge of whitewater rapids. However, we must never underestimate the tremendous force of moving water, which can quickly turn harmless fun into a fight for your life. The hazard of drowning can appear suddenly and in many forms. It occurs in metropolitan areas and in isolated rural locations, such as canyons, arroyos, whitewater locations, caves, and even storm drains. Some of the most popular vacation spots in the western and southwestern United States are canyons. Each year, thousands of campers, hikers, and other outdoor enthusiasts explore the narrow valleys and gorges found in canyons. However, when raging floodwaters roar through these narrow channels, these popular spots can become death traps.
First came the lawn furniture, and then came the live gas tanks off of campers and stuff, and then there came the saw logs and the wood piles, and then came the cars and the trucks and the campers, and cars had lights on them and the people in them, and the lights are still on them. There was people in them, and you couldn't even get close to this because of all the debris coming down.
There's no way to help any of them.
No way, no way. And you couldn't even hear them scream, thank God, because the roar was so bad.
A flood is an overflow of water onto normally dry land. Flooding is long-term, lasting for days or weeks. A flash flood is caused by heavy rainfall in a short period of time, generally less than 6 hours. Flash floods can develop quickly when you least expect it. They can form from intense thunderstorms at the upper end of a canyon, sometimes many miles away. Although you may be in the lower end of the canyon, enjoying sunny skies, danger could be racing toward you at that very moment. Flash floods in canyons are so localized and powerful, they carry boulders, rocks, trees, and anything else in their path. People don't just drown in these kinds of flash floods. They are also beaten to death by the moving debris. Visitors to popular spots like Zion National Park and other canyons need to be constantly aware of changing weather conditions to ensure a safe outing. To alert people of current and potential danger, the National Weather Service monitors our current river conditions and issues official flood and flash flood watches and warnings. Keep abreast of current weather conditions before entering and while visiting a canyon. An arroyo is a flat-bottomed, normally dry stream bed forming a channel, usually found in the semi-arid western United States. They can be many miles long. Most often in the summer months, warm, moist tropical air masses produce strong thunderstorms with intense rainfall. Arroyos become hazards when rain falls too quickly to be absorbed by the hardened desert ground and quickly runs through the usually dry channels. When this happens, a dry arroyo can quickly become a raging river. Some people choose to camp in the flat, dry arroyo bed. However, rainwater channeled into an arroyo can come from thunderstorms occurring miles away, leaving campers unaware they are in the direct path of a deadly wall of racing water. Vehicles are especially prone to hidden danger in areas where roads without bridges dip across these normally dry creek beds. Be especially careful when in or near an arroyo, wash, or low water crossing. Never drive through flooded roads or washes. You can lose control of your car in as little as 6 inches of water, and 2 feet of water can carry your car away. In recent years, whitewater rafting has become a popular adventure sport. Riding the swirling waters or navigating around standing waves are exciting ways to enjoy the outdoors. There are dangers associated with fast-moving water, but with a little common sense, rafters and kayakers can enjoy a safe day on the river. Swollen rivers from rain, melting snow, or scheduled dam releases can provide for exciting whitewater rides. Increased river heights produce a faster, more powerful flow. Rafters need to know current river conditions to avoid potential mishaps. Usually, it is the novice adventurer without professional guidance who gets into trouble.
Last weekend, when 3 river rafters went over the edge, sucked into water churning so furiously, it ripped off one of the rafters' life jackets.
It's the pressure, tons and tons of water pushing against a human being. The tons of water usually always win.
There's a lot of big waves. There's also the cold water, hypothermia is a big factor too.
It's good, exciting flow right now. You just gotta run it safely and you shouldn't have any problems.
Depending on weather conditions, water levels vary throughout the year, making certain times better for rafting than others. The character of a river may change depending on the height of the river and shape of the channel.
Welcome back. Westerly winds 10 to 15 knots with 4 to 6 feet seas out along the coast. Clarence Strait, southeast 24-foot seas, otherwise southerlies 10 to 15 from the central inside waters all the way up through northern Lynn Canal. And for Monday, we've got southeast winds at about 15 with 5-foot seas out here along the coast. A little bit stronger, 20 knotters there off the extreme south coast. Southeast 10, 2-foot seas or less for Clarence Strait. And southerlies again here through the central inside waters all the way up to Lynn Canal. For the Cook Inlet forecast tomorrow, light and variable here from the northern inlet extending all the way down into Kamishak Bay. Southwest 15 there for Kodiak Island. West-southwest 15 knots from the eastern Gulf Coast to the Barrens, and then much lighter off to the east, becoming again variable there for Prince William Sound. And then on Monday, southwest winds possibly as high as 15 knots for the Sound. Easterlies 15 along the north coast. And into the Barren Islands about 20 knots. Southeast 20 for Kamishak Bay, as well as the east side of Kodiak Island. Light southerlies for Cook Inlet only at 10 knots. Bristol Bay, west 15. Southwest 15 there from Sitkinak to Castle Cape. Otherwise, light variable winds for the peninsula. And then for Monday, I'll look for those southeasterlies to increase 20 to 25 knots across the Alaska Peninsula on Monday, especially in the afternoon. South winds picking up to 20 knots for Bristol Bay. For the eastern Aleutians, southeast 15 increasing to 20 to small craft advisories here for the central Aleutians. And for Monday, we've got pretty good gales coming in, 35 to 40 knots here for the central Aleutians from the east-southeast, and that same pattern all the way across to Unalaska Island, and then lighter northerlies back to the west. For the southwest coast, northwest 20 knots there south of Nunivak Island, northerlies north of the island to the Bering Strait. The Pribilof southeast at 15. And then for Monday, northeast winds 20 knots, St. Lawrence Island on down into the northern Bering, and kind of a trough axis right through here, roughly close to Nunivak Island, where southwest winds on the south side of that will be blowing in toward Kuskokwim Bay at only 15 knots, but small craft advisories for northeast up to 25. North of the island, the Pribilof's east 25. And up along the Arctic coast, got small craft advisories here for the east winds at 25 knots, southeast 20 for the central coast. To the west side, really dropping off here down toward the Bering Strait, especially south of Cape Thompson. And then for Monday, we've got from Wales up to Cape Beaufort, northerlies at 10 knots, northwest at 10 on the west side, southeast 15, increasing to 20 knots here for the eastern Beaufort Sea coast, and then the small craft advisories hanging here for the areas over toward Demarcation Point with 5-foot seas. And for tonight again, just some variable clouds here over the eastern interior, some isolated showers, and about that same pattern down over the Panhandle. Really nothing much in the way of shower activity going on. Low clouds and fog staying off the coast, fair and mild over the interior. And then for tomorrow, look for some scattered thunderstorms possibly along the eastern mountains all the way down towards Bristol Bay, northeast Bristol Bay. Same pattern there for the southeast coast, sunny and warm southwest on up to the north, and still in the 60s to lower 70s here over south central Alaska. And the next storm spreading wind and rain into the western Aleutians, into the central Aleutians, and then gale force winds, rain possibly heavy at times spreading into the eastern areas. Scattered thunderstorms, Bristol Bay, really just more clouds, cooler conditions over southern Alaska, sunny and mild to the north. That's a look at the weather. Thanks for joining us.
These forecasts are to be used for planning purposes only. Call 1-800-WX-BRIEF for a formal pre-flight briefing. Always file a flight plan before you go flying. The U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary urges you to leave a float plan with a friend or the harbor master before you go boating. Alaska Weather is made possible by the following sponsors.
The National Weather Service.